Morning, everyone. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone, for being here on a cold morning in our city. I do want to acknowledge a few people before we start. I want to thank our Chief Operating Officer, Lisa Benjamin, for the City of Atlanta being here, our Insurance Commissioner for the State of Georgia, Commissioner King, being present, and then representatives of 3 agencies that have been working very hard over the last year and a half to ensure that anarchists that are at work do not succeed right here in Atlanta or in the state of Georgia. So I want to thank the FBI, the ATF, and the GBI for being present today, but also being very active on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta. We've asked you to come together again today because there is an effort underway by a very small group of individuals, anarchists, that want to impact the safety of Atlanta, Georgia. And why is this important? And I was reminded overnight it was 14 degrees in our city. But while we were in the comfort of our beds, members of the fire department and the police department were hard at work. While it was 14 degrees in the city overnight, we resolved to barricade a gunman in the city. And while it was 14 degrees overnight, we stopped individuals that were breaking into cars. And while it was 14 degrees, I saw many of our officers transporting unsheltered individuals that were at risk of death because of the frigid temperatures to warming centers in the city. Overnight, we had car accidents where the fire department responded and removed people from those vehicles. And overnight, fires were extinguished in the city when it was 14 degrees. And the only reason we're able to do that as a fire and police department is because we invest in our first responders. The Public Safety Training Center is key, making sure that we, time and time again, as a police and fire department, can rise to the expectations of this city, and that regardless of the temperature or what the emergency is, we are there for the citizens of Atlanta. The training center is vital to ensure that we have the right number of police officers, the right number of fire department personnel, and they're properly trained to go wherever the emergency is and whatever the emergency is. But yet, anarchists start work. They struck again this week. Just yesterday, a piece of equipment aligned with one of the construction companies that is building the Public Safety Training Center for every Atlantan was set on fire in DeKalb County. And for those of you that may be following the communication arm of this anarchist group you saw this morning, they took credit for that attack, and they took great pride in that attack. That they would, on this morning, as our first responders continue to protect this city, are trying to undermine our ability to protect every citizen of Atlanta and all 245 of our neighborhoods. But it's just not the cost of construction equipment that is occurring. This department continues to fight crime. We're blessed last year to see a reduction in our homicides and our shootings. We continue to do that, despite the fact of having to protect the Public Safety Training Center. That's coming at a cost to the citizens of Atlanta because we're spending overtime to make sure that we fight crime, reduce homicides in the city, and make sure that we invest in the most important thing that we have to keep this department staffed to its proper levels and to be able to respond to all emergencies that may be occurring. We announced a $200,000 reward for information leading to the conviction and arrest of individuals committing arsons right here in the state of Georgia. I do want to acknowledge success that has occurred because of the partnership that you see aligned behind me. Next door in a neighboring state of South Carolina, we had a construction company that had a loose connection to the project here in Atlanta that was targeted by an individual that used one of the tools of violence, fear, and intimidation that has been used mainly by this group, which is arson. Set equipment on fire, going after concrete trucks. Because of the local law enforcement officials, because of an observant citizen and the federal partnerships that is in place, we arrested Seth Brock Springer, and I use the we because of law enforcement, and charged him with those crimes. And as he was leaving there, he spray painted all across the equipment, "Stop Cop City," used profanity. "If you build it, we will burn it," and "Save the Ubalani." I want to put on notice every member of this group. This will soon be you, because we are offering a $200,000 reward. And in addition to that, starting this week, that reward information will appear on over 450 billboards across the country in major American cities that we believe these individuals are coming from when they travel to Atlanta, Georgia to set fires. These billboards will be present in Detroit, Seattle, Nashville, New York, and many other cities where we believe that right now someone is sitting that knows who is setting the fires, who is impacting the safety of Atlanta, Georgia. And we encourage everyone that cares, everyone that believes in an orderly society, everyone that knows what the responsibility of fire and police are to keep citizens safe, to take note of this. Someone else has information, just like the individual that had information on Mr. Springer, to allow us to bring others to justice and to stop this reign of terror and the tools of violence, fear, and intimidation that are at play. Law enforcement is not going to arrest until we have everyone in jail. And the citizens of Atlanta, and I hear from many of them that are concerned that a group of outsiders that are bent on using a tool that can bring about death of an innocent victim. Remember when they set our police precinct on fire, there was a police officer inside. I want to reassure those citizens that we're at work to continue to make sure that these individuals will be arrested. $200,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of individuals connected to any Georgian fire. We want to thank the FBI, the ATF, the Georgia Insurance Commissioner, as well as the Atlanta Police Foundation for bringing that award amount around. Just going to highlight a few of those arrests or a few of the incidents rather, that are connected to this award amount. You have the construction equipment that was destroyed in November of this year in Gwinnett County. You also have a number of arson events right here on McDonough Boulevard. And there is no mystery. I didn't need my best investigators to tell me who did this, because every time a fire is set, ladies and gentlemen, this group takes credit for it, and they take credit for it with great pride, and they tell us how they did it. And so soon, the individuals that have been in the dark of night impacting every one of our neighborhoods will be held responsible as we bring these individuals to justice. This is not just a police department matter. As I was looking at the calls that played out overnight, it wasn't just police officers moving about this city. There was many times our fire department was at work on medical emergencies and extinguishing fires. And so I want to bring Chief McLemore to the podium to speak on the impact from his perspective that a small group of arsonists are have undermining the Public Safety Training Center.
Thank you, Chief Shearbaum. Again, James McLemore with the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department. Chief Shearbaum alluded to, yes, last night we responded to fires, extinguishing fires, EMS calls throughout the city. But let's think about this. You have the Super Bowl, you have the Final Four, you have World Cup coming, and various conferences that hit the city on every weekend with 100,000 plus people. This training center is very important. We must create the best firefighter to serve the citizens of Atlanta. This training center, a joint collaboration of police and fire and correction and others, provides the training, a driving course that helps us, a burn tower, which allows us to do technical rescue training from, also a mock station where members can be trained and learn the ways of the fire service, and also a mock village where recruits can learn how to fight fires. All this in a new training center will help provide the best firefighter to service the citizens of Atlanta. And also, on a monthly and yearly basis, firefighters are required to have 40 hours of EMS continued training every 2 years. Also, 40 state hours and 240 ISO hours, and also company training. This training center allows us to have the company training, where we can bring units together, work within a mock village, provide real-life training so that we can serve and have a better product when it comes to serving the citizens of Atlanta. So we get to arson. Arson, a criminal act of deliberately setting fire to property. Arson is a crime that involves someone intentionally burning or damaging property. What are the effects of arson? Financial, as we've heard earlier, the impact that the equipment being burned plays a role with the companies working, delays in the project due to this. Risk to human life. Like Chief Shearbaum alluded to, there was a member of the police department inside the building where one of the fires were deliberately set. That could have been harmful to that person. Plight of the neighborhoods. Items burned, it's left in the neighborhood. It does not look well. Personal belongings that may be burned, that are priceless to families. All has an impact from arson. And last but not least, arson, our response. If you pull firefighters or you pull stations to a location where arson has been set, that moves equipment strategically placed away from other neighborhoods. And there could be someone your relative, your family member in an accident where there may be a delay. So the arson pulls our resources and hurts our delays in other areas of the city. So with that being said, again, there's a $200,000 reward. Contact Crime Stoppers. Any information that leads to the arrest to these criminal acts. Again, I think the number is 404-577-TIPS, 8477. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. I also want to bring to the podium our insurance commissioner for the state of Georgia, because if you are a viewer or if you're a reader, you may think this doesn't impact me, but it does. Not only does it impact the potential of safety in the city, there's a monetary amount that can affect every single Georgian and every Atlantan. So, Commissioner, thank you again for being with us today and for all the work you're doing to assist us.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is John King. I'm Georgia Insurance and Safety Fire Commissioner. And we're assisting the city of Atlanta in two ways. First of all, providing our technical expertise in arson investigations, especially with our State Fire Marshal's Office. Secondly, we are assessing, obviously, the impact on insurance, because this will affect everybody's insurance rates, not only in the city, but also in the region, because their losses are being attributed, and it's obviously costing. Somebody has to pay for the damage that's been occurred. These individuals are trafficking in fear, and that is what they're trying to do. And I want to make sure that the public understands that we will be relentless in the pursuit of the people responsible. I trained as a young Atlanta police officer. I trained in the original facility that luckily the chief and the city are taking incredible amount of courage in building to benefit. I just met 2 young recruits getting ready to go to the police academy. That was me in 1985. And Atlanta desperately deserves a world-class training facility where they can train police officers, EMTs, and firefighters together, instead of trying to figure it out in the early stages of their careers on the street. And so I really ask for the public, the solutions, this case is going to be broken by somebody in the audience has seen something, has heard something that will get these folks before a trial, before a court, so they can face justice. The amount of resources are being expended, we all will end up paying, but the resources, every Georgia citizen ends up impacted. This is not only a city of Atlanta. You've heard the locations being affected: Gwinnett County, McDonough, Clayton, now even South Carolina. These people do not care about our communities, and we're asking the community to make that phone call to Crime Stoppers. The solution for this case is going to be in this community. Thank you so much.
Chief, thank you, Commissioner. Before I open up questions, I just want to again acknowledge and thank the first responders of our city that were out protecting last night in the Bitter Cone. Thank you, Atlanta Police Department. Thank you, Atlanta Fire Rescue. Residents of Atlanta, visitors to our city, we are going to stop this. We are going to build you a first-class public safety training center, so when your 911 call is made, we will come trained and ready to do what you expect us to do. And for those that are trying to intimidate construction companies, those that are trying to stop the training center, you will be found, you will be identified, and you will be held accountable. And thank you again to the FBI, the ATF, and the GBI for all of their work, as well as the Insurance Commissioner's Office, to make sure that we quickly bring these individuals to justice and stop this reign of terror. Open for any questions that you all may have. Agency.
Chief, just to be clear, is this $200,000 per arrest and conviction? Or is this an overall lump sum $200,000? Or is it by case by case?
So this is $200,000 for arrest and conviction that may occur.
For each person that's arrested or convicted?
It's for each case. It's up to $200,000. So some cases are more pronounced and important in investigation to others, so it's important always to say up to $200,000 for each arrest and conviction that is connected with the arson.
And do you know where that money's coming from?
It's a number of donors. We have the ATF that has donated money. We have the FBI that has done so. The Arson Control Board of the state of Georgia has done so, and Crime Stoppers Atlanta has done so.
Can you give specifics about yesterday's incident? What was targeted, where, and what happened?
So this was in DeKalb County. There was a piece of construction equipment connected with one of the contractor companies, and we'll obviously specifics we will defer to DeKalb County Fire or to the ATF. But it was set on fire. It was in close proximity to the construction site, and you can go to the side of the anarchist. They will tell you exactly how they did it, and they will tell you why they did it.
Chief, can you talk a little bit about the incident in South Carolina. Was that particular piece of equipment being brought to Atlanta to work on the facility? How do you know it was connected? I know that there was, graffiti and what have you, but was that piece of equipment going to be used in the construction of the facility?
You know, it wasn't. There was a loose, inaccurate association of that company. Someone thought that it was connected to this construction site. And just based on that misinformation, an anarchist went there and set it on fire. And their motivation was they thought they were stopping a public safety training center. Livelihoods were impacted. I don't know who didn't get to come to work that day. I don't know what projects were not happening that day in that area. Was it a school? Was it a hospital? But there was a ripple effect to that community. Why they did it, well, we can see. There was graffiti all over the place, graffiti that we often see right here in the city.
And as far as the billboards, are they going to be strategically placed throughout this city? Meaning, like, are they going to be placed by the airport, where people may be coming in, and where are they going to be placed in some of these other cities that you announced, like Seattle and Nashville and what have you?
They will be strategically placed. We have areas that we believe in people possess information that is vital to this case, that will break it wide open, that will bring individuals to justice. And so take note of that. You may be sitting in Seattle, but you may be eligible up to $200,000 for the information you give that brings to the arrest and the conviction. So we'll be placed in areas that we think individuals are that have information.
One quick question. Do you have an update on some of the other cases you talked about during the last press conference?
They're very active. You saw the arrest that occurred in South Carolina. The same measures that were taken to bring about that arrest are active right here in the state of Georgia. It's active with our partners that stand behind us. And we believe the same arrests that occurred there, those similar arrests will either occur right here in our state, or they will occur in cities where I've mentioned in this press conference.
And back to the billboards, when are they going up? How long will they be up? And then the full list, is that available?
You should see them up this week. We'll see if we can get the full list out to you all. I believe there's about 9 cities that you'll be seeing them up in. And they'll stay up as long as we need them to bring in the information that we believe we need to bring closure to these cases.
You say up to $200,000. Have you guys paid out any from that pool of money at different points so far with any tips that you guys have received?
Not yet, but we have the checkbook ready to go, sir. So,
And obviously, with you guys did this, what was it, a month ago? Whenever you guys did the last press conference, saying the $200,000 amount. These things are continuing to happen. I mean, it doesn't seem to be deterring anyone from committing these acts.
I'm confident we've thwarted attacks. I can't give you all the information that I have here today. Very confident we've thwarted attacks. And if one happens, that's one too many. And we are not going to allow our construction companies to be intimidated or the citizens of Atlanta to worry about the quality of their first responders. So I'm not deterred about any of that because we're going to make progress here, sir, and we're going to make additional arrests.
Do you know how many arrests have been made to date, training center related arrests since construction?
We can get that for you. I do not have it in front of me. Many of you have covered those arrests. We made an arrest on March 5th. We made arrests here on Peachtree Street. We have charged individuals with arson, and individuals have been charged with arson previously for setting police cars on fire on Peachtree Street. And individuals have been charged with arson around the March 5th time.
Who's paying for the billboards?
It's going to be the Crime Stoppers Atlanta.
If no other questions, thank you, everyone.
Thank you all very much.
Any other questions to the Public Affairs Unit? Thank you.
Thank you.
How did you put the panels up, all the pictures back up?
We are going to send that slideshow